Should you get a USB or an XLR microphone? What's the difference? Is one better than the other? And if so, is the extra quality worth the extra price? Alright, so the basics. A USB mic will plug right into your computer and will be ready to go right out of the box. If you go with an XLR mic instead, you're going to need at least one extra piece of hardware to be able to plug it in your computer, either an audio interface or a mixer. This extra hardware is going to add to the price and make your build more complicated, but you're going to get way more control over your sound. However, this doesn't mean that your USB mic is going to sound bad. You'll still get a clean sound out of it. You're just not going to be able to fine-tune it like you could a good XLR mic with a mixer. So the short version is, if you just can't afford it or you don't care about how you sound as long as you sound clean, just go with the USB option. But if you want that control and you don't mind paying extra and putting in a little bit of extra time learning how to work it all and dial everything in, you're never going to regret going with the XLR. So we're done, right? I convinced you all. No. For those of you still on the fence, let's go deeper. The mic I've been talking on up to this point, and the mic I stream with every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from noon to 6 Eastern on Twitch, is the Audio-Technica 2035 XLR microphone, which I run through both a compressor and a mixer. So how does this microphone, which I've fine-tuned exactly the way that I want it, compare to a high-quality USB microphone? You tell me. Now I'm talking on my Blue Yeti USB microphone with just a compressor filter added in OBS. Can you tell the difference? I'm sure you can. But do I sound awful? No. The sound is clean and of decent quality, and this is going to be good enough for most people. So what's the big deal about being able to fine-tune your sound? Just how much better can you get your mic to sound by running it through a mixer and compressor? Well, would you believe that I'm talking into my XLR microphone right now? Did you even notice that I changed mics back? This is what my XLR mic sounds like without any tweaks at all, except the same compression filter that I put on the USB mic. They sound pretty similar, don't they? The difference isn't in the microphones themselves. The microphones are actually pretty comparable in quality. The difference comes from running my XLR mic through my mixer and compressor. No matter how much tweaking you do with OBS filters, you'll never get this kind of quality from a USB mic. Okay, but what if you just want a clean sound? Is there any benefit to an XLR mic over a USB? Yep, actually there is. Let's say you've got a noisy house and you don't want your stream to hear your air conditioner or your computer fans or something like that. You're going to want a noise gate for that. Noise gating takes sounds lower than your voice and makes them nearly silent. OBS has some noise gate filters that kind of work, but they're not nearly as good as using hardware for the same thing. Here, let me show you. Right now I'm using my Blue Yeti with OBS's noise gate filter on. It sounds okay, but personally, I don't like using it. Notice how when I stop talking, everything goes completely silent, but the second I start talking, all the ambient noise comes rushing back all at once. It's very jarring and to me, super distracting, and I hate going into streams where I see this going on. If I hear this, I usually leave pretty quick. Now listen to me talking with the same ambient noise going on in the background, but now I'm doing it through my XLR microphone, through my hardware compressor's noise gate. Quite a big difference, right? Notice how smooth that transition is. Pretty good, right? Note that with the hardware, I never go completely silent, but if it really bothers you, you can mask what little ambient noise is left with a little music or your in-game sound, and no one will ever notice. And if you're still not convinced, there's even more reasons to go the XLR route. Even if you're on a budget, you could still get a decent condenser microphone like the AT2020 or 2035 like I use and team it up with a fairly inexpensive mixer. And down the line, as your finances permit, you could replace the mixer with a better one or add a separate hardware compressor, all without having to replace your mic. Or you could invest in a quality mixer and go with a cheaper microphone and then swap out for a better mic down the line. To me, this is the difference between buying a pre-built computer and building your own. The pre-built is going to be fine for a lot of people, but building your own really gives you control over the quality of everything, and you can always upgrade pieces without having to scrap it all. In the future, I'll go over a much more in-depth guide on how to get great audio. Make sure you subscribe so you know when that comes out. but for now, I'll go over a few quick tips to get you started. If you're going the XLR route, I don't recommend you get an audio interface. I recommend you get a mixer board with a USB output. A mixer board with a USB output is going to do everything that an audio interface can do, but an audio interface usually isn't going to have the options to tweak your sound like a mixer board will. When it comes to noise gating, the best noise gate is no noise gate at all. Instead, try moving the microphone closer to your mouth and lower the gain on it. A lot of ambient noise can be canceled out by using this technique. Whatever's left, usually you can mask behind in-game audio and music and stuff. If you're still having an issue, then you can apply light noise gating. But when it comes especially to OBS's noise gate filters, the less you use the better. Most people know to get a boom arm for their mic, but here's a pro tip. Don't attach your arm to your main desk. Every bump, mouse click, and keyboard press is going to reverberate up that mic arm, and your mic is going to pick up on it all. Instead, attach it to a side table that won't be disturbed. Want that radio voice, but you went with a USB microphone? Chances are you've got it sitting more than a foot away from your mouth. Move it closer, within a few inches. This isn't a total replacement for having an XLR microphone run through a mixer, but you'd be surprised at how much of a difference it makes. Don't try to noise gate your mouse and keyboard clicks to total silence. If you try to do so, you're probably going to move the noise gate to your vocal range, and that's going to make you sound pretty unnatural. A little mouse and keyboard noise is normal and people kind of expect it, so don't fret about that. But if they're excessively loud, make sure your keyboard and mouse aren't sitting between you and your microphone. Also, make sure your microphone is set to cardioid mode if it has that as an option. If it's still doing it, make sure your compression isn't too high. Check your gain, EQ, and whatever else is on your mixer. If that still doesn't do it, let your music and your in-game noise mask the sound, or quit typing with your elbows. If you're using OBS filters, your filter order matters. You want to noise gate first and then compress your sound. If you compress your sound first, you're basically crushing your volume so that your whispers are fairly comparable with your yelling. You don't want to try to noise gate in that crushed of a range, so noise gate first, okay? Review your sound. When you think it sounds good, review it again. Use different headphones, use your speakers, use your cell phone, ask your viewers what they think. Check your VODs, make sure it's playing back right. Just because you think it sounds good doesn't mean it's going to sound good to everyone, so check it. When in doubt, go louder than seems right to you. Just because you sound loud enough on your own headphones doesn't mean that you're going to sound good on people's cell phones or over their speakers or on lower quality headphones than what you're using. If you go too loud, people can always turn you down, but if you go too soft, there's only so much that people can turn you up. Always aim for too loud. Alright y'all, I hope this video helped you decide whether a USB or an XLR mic is right for you. If it did, drop a like to let me know. For my money, you'll never regret going with the XLR. The quality control of it is worth the extra investment in my mind, but if you just can't justify the cost, you shouldn't fret. A decent USB microphone is going to do you just fine. It's just going to come with a few extra compromises. If there's anything I didn't cover and you have more questions, drop a comment down below and I'll make sure I answer it. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. You can find my link in the description down below. Until next time.